Lauren, Matilda's knee, is she good to go?
Yeah, Matilda's all good. She obviously had a little bit of a scare late in the game there, but she's been playing some pretty big minutes and some very impressive footy, so no, she's good to go.
Did it give you a scare as well when that quality goes down?
I think if any of your players go down and need to be seen by the medical team, you always have a little bit of a, you want to know pretty quickly what's going on, but she's all good.
That's good. Is she fast becoming one of these stars of the competition? Do you think that her size and skill is really starting to show?
Yeah, I think obviously Matilda's talent's enormous, and one thing I try and work with our young players on is to not be defined by your talent, be defined by hard work, and that's something Matilda's been working away at and will continue to work away at. And yeah, if anything, to be fair, probably a bit surprised a couple of weeks ago she wasn't formally nominated for Mark of the Year. So I think all the rhetoric in the media has been that it has to be Mark of the Year, and certainly that's the chat amongst us. So I'd be hopeful it's a Courtney Hodder situation from last year where the Mark of the Year is recognised for what happens out on the field. Maybe not, I don't know, is it online nominations or something?
I feel like Georgiades won one. When he won his, he wasn't nominated that week.
Yeah, I'll throw that out there. I think Matilda should be nominated for Mark of the Year off the back of the mark against Collingwood.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I just assumed she had been, actually.
So did I.
You have been rewarded for your hard work over the past 4 weeks. You must be absolutely thrilled to finally have some momentum, not just in your performance, but in your results as well.
Yeah, certainly 4 wins in a row is enormous reward for effort, and not just for this year. It's been a long time coming for us, and to have reward for effort over the last 4 weeks is really nice, and we still feel like we've got a heap of work to do. So it's remaining on an even keel off the back of that.
Right from the start, when you took over, you said you wanted to play the girls to play a finals brand of footy, and now finals actually seems within reach. How important is it to keep level-headed? And I know you always say it's 1 week at a time, but do you have to address that prize or that carrot at the end this year?
I think, to be fair, obviously we're sitting, I think we're 7th on the ladder currently, but we haven't locked away a final spot. And so I think the conversation for us is it's really nice to be in a position, it's a privilege to be in a position where you're asked about finals publicly, but internally our focus has to be on how we get better each week. And to be really honest, it's been our focus since the start of this year, and a big pre-season focus, and the conversation I've been having with the group since before pre-season started is that our growth will be measured to an extent in wins and losses this year, but mostly in the growth we see on and off field from the group, the maturity that we've started to see develop in difficult moments in games. But yeah, there's certain measures of growth that we think is for long term more important than just pure wins and losses this year.
Did you expect to be asked about finals in round 9 heading into the year, or is that development actually maybe a bit faster than you maybe even expected?
Oh, like I've said, you certainly don't sit in pre-season wondering what you'll be asked in a round 10 press conference. I'm honestly just really pleased that we can talk about it, and also balancing that with we've got a heap of work to do, and that starts with the Gold Coast on Saturday.
You had the chance to play at the MCG this year, and now People's First or Metricon or whatever they call it these days. Do you enjoy playing on those bigger grounds or in those bigger stadiums, or do you prefer the more boutique grounds?
I love any ground we get to play at, and obviously the stadium at Carrara is really, really nice. So I think the nature of it being big is similar to Alberton, and obviously the stadium infrastructure means we should be protected by the weather, where in other grounds, for AFLW in particular, we're not. So very much looking forward to getting to the Gold Coast. I've got to be a family up there too, so it'll be nice to get up there, and also for our group to play on one of the premier grounds in the country. You've
been in some great teams. Is there a danger coming up against a side in the Gold Coast, perhaps their results don't reflect that they're in great nick? Is there a danger sometimes against those teams? Oh,
I think the Suns are actually a good team, and they'd be disappointed with their results this year. But if you look at particularly the last 2 weeks, which is the form that you need to track in an 11-game season, they've actually been playing some really good footy, and they got the win last week, and the week before they played Brisbane. And speaking to Craig Starcevich from Brisbane a couple of weeks ago, he actually said they played some really good footy. So there's plenty for us to prepare for, and no doubt they're a strong side. And yeah, as I said, I think they'd be disappointed with the wins and losses ratio this year, but they've certainly got the ability to win all the games that they come up against. Yeah.
You've had a few milestones this year as a coach. Do you use that as extra motivation? Do you address that and say, play for Kirsty? How does it go?
It's interesting. I actually lent, particularly with Ebony last week, there's a fair bit to celebrate in there for her. Ebbs was delisted by the Giants after season 1, I think, and then went to Collingwood, and we were stoked to be able to bring her back to South Australia and have her play at Port Adelaide. And so now coming in, Cheyenne Hammond, similar, I think it's 50 games for Cheyenne this week, and for Lammy, who has been a Port Adelaide supporter since she was very young, Paul Rosonico's niece. So I think for both of those, there's some really special stuff around providing opportunity for Lammy to play for Port Adelaide, which is the team she's always supported and has massive family connection to. And then for Hamo to come back to South Australia after starting her career at the Suns and to be home with her family, which means so much to her. She's also someone who's such a big part of our culture off field and on field. So it is really special. And I think as a coach, I just try and take the special parts of those people and what they bring to the group and remind the group as a celebration of those people. It's a really nice opportunity.
And the experience of those more experienced recruits that you've brought in, have you noticed that having a wider impact, not just on field but off field as well?
Yeah, certainly with Hamo, I think her experience, she hasn't always had things go her own way in her career. She's been in and out of teams, and even here at Port, there's been moments where I've had to have harder conversations with her and she's been left out of the team. And she's also had surgery in each off-season that she's been here and been so diligent and always ahead of where rehab needs to be in the off-season. And so to have someone like that who truly cares about her teammates and just turns up as a complete team-first player, there's enormous lessons in that for our young crew. And for Lammy, I think what we're starting to see, particularly in the last couple of weeks, is her real smarts on field, her support of her teammates, both during the week and on game day. But the smarts and the communication she's able to get done in key moments, her teammates are really starting to recognise that. So it's been pleasing, particularly late in the year.
Port Adelaide's always been a really proud club when it comes to its Indigenous roots and connections, and so how important for the girls this week to probably get behind an Indigenous round. Yeah,
certainly for our First Nations people here, it's really special, and particularly for Jazz Stewart. It's been a tough year for her. Had a really, really limited off-season and pre-season, and so to be playing and wearing the jumper that she's designed in honour of her grandfather is something, again, that we get to celebrate this week, and I know our group will be exceptionally proud to wear it. And it's an amazing jumper that she's put together, and I think knowing we've got 3 First Nations players on our list this year, and I did have a little look today, and I think that's the most of any club in the AFLW, and so to be a team that's in their 3rd season, and we've always had strong representation across the footy club and particularly in our AFLW side as well. It's something that we're really proud of and hope to do the jumper proud and Jazz proud this weekend.
Awesome. We've done a story with Piper Window that we haven't run yet. Can I just ask you on your thoughts on her first season in the competition?
Yeah, Piper's been really impressive, particularly the last few weeks. I think she's balanced her time midfield and forward and certainly led the way in defensive pressure, and we're starting to see some offensive elements of her game come through too. So, quietly spoken young person, but also some nice confidence behind her, and we know she's been a SANFL League best and fairest as well as a teenager. So, really love what Piper brings to our group and on and off field, and really pleased with her progress so far. We've seen enormous growth since the pre-season, so she's tracking really well.
I just wanted to ask about any team changes this week for us. I know that goes down a couple of hours. Yeah, exciting for Jo Miller, our debutante this weekend. So Jo, she's actually a Queenslander, just south of Brizzy, and so it'd be awesome for her family who are based in just south of Brisbane to be able to come to the game and watch her debut. She's had a bit of a run-in, like a long run into playing her first AFLW game, and she's playing for Cooperoo in the QAFLW, and then just to chase her footy dream, moved to Darwin in what is our off-season, but Darwin plays in the wet season up there, and so she's come out of there, Brisbane, Darwin, and then moved straight down to play for Glenelg in their SANFLW, and put together a really nice back end of the year, and we signed her as an inactive replacement player. So, it's been thick and fast, and it feels like a bit of a journey for her already, but, former triathlete and someone who I think will add some really nice run to our midfield on a big ground at Carrara.